This is the Ecwid Ecommerce Show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard O'Tay.
Hey, Jess, great to have you back.
It is a good day, Richie. It's good to be back. I know it's been a while since we've had a one-on-one pod here. So, yeah, it's good to see you, even though I'm just looking at a camera and I see you, just an image, but I'll pretend I see you. Good.
Pretend it's in person, no lunch date or anything.
Exactly.
So it's that time again. It's podcast time. We're here. Now you've been gone for a few episodes, and I don't know if everybody knows it, but you were pretty busy. Ecwid was being acquired by Lightspeed, and congratulations. I wanted to let you, I wanted to say to you, congratulations first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good run here. So like obviously there's a lot of people been working on this for a long time, but the past month or so it's just been a little extra overdrive of getting kind of onboarding with the new company. We had a party, that's important too. So we had to celebrate with all the people that made this happen. So it's been an awesome run. And of course now everybody's pumped about the next stage here. So we were acquired by Lightspeed. So anybody who's not aware, they're a public company, they're massive, they have all sorts of resources. So that's kind of the cool part for us is that everybody, like everybody you worked with at Ecwid, all the support, all the devs, all the marketing people, everybody's on board. So Lightspeed bought Ecwid for both the technology and the people. It wasn't like an either or, like they bought the technology and everyone's gone. It's not like so they bought it for both. And I think if you see some announcements from Lightspeed as well. So Ecwid is going to be like the centerpiece of the e-commerce platform for them. So like it's going to be kind of being spread out through the rest of their organization, which is good for people listening to the Ecwid Ecommerce Show, because that means Ecwid is going to get more resources, it's going to get built out in kind of all different directions. So we've been hiring a bunch of people all over the place already. Now we have sort of I don't know if we have unlimited resources. I think that's probably not the case, but we do have more resources to help grow and, kind of add all these new features that people want and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, just if people are seeing this announcement wondering, what's up, like it's a very good thing. Everybody's happy. We're all going to be Lightspeeders. We are all Lightspeeders, I guess, already. So yeah, kind of looking forward to that, working with, now there's several thousand people on the team. I don't know, 2,000 people. I don't know, a bunch of people. So we're out meeting all sorts of new people. So Richie,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So bottom line is this is good for Ecwid users. They're going to have more people helping build a better platform that was already helping people sell things online. So
yes. So this is a very good thing. So when you see these announcements, it's now going to be Ecwid by Lightspeed. It's good for everybody listening. So I'll just kind of say, stay tuned. There's a lot more coming.
Awesome. So I know last week I covered a lot about Cyber Monday and Black Friday and kind of went into some of the details. But I wanted to just reiterate a couple things. I know there were a couple things that you wanted to bring up. We just keep hearing more and more about the shipping delays that are going to happen. And so we definitely don't want to be disheartening by any means. We want you to make as many sales as you can, but I wanted to go ahead and let you, since you haven't been on the mic for a while, let you kind of cover what your thoughts are on, shipping and how people should handle that. Even though we talked a little bit about it last week, I think you have a unique perspective that could be helpful.
Yeah, Richie. So yeah, this is kind of we'll call this podcast like a get ready for the holidays thing. And so the holidays they're coming. So by the time you guys hear this, it's probably mid-November. You might already have been noticing some shipping delays. So, whatever, you can't make the shippers go hire a bunch of people, right? But what you can do is you can move up all your sales. Like it's going to be bad. What you can do is like, don't wait for Black Friday and Cyber Monday to do your sales. You're going to see, and you've probably already seen it, like everybody all the bigger companies already know this. Like they have their projections, right? Like, so if you're going to have, the Amazons, the Targets, if you're in other countries, the similar companies are going to have early Black Friday sales because they want to push or pull these sales up earlier, just because the logistics can't handle it right now. So anyway, the tip here, the very actionable tip is like, don't wait, like do these sales now and people are going to understand it. So when you're sending these emails early, like in the 15th of November, telling people it's a holiday sale, order now, they're going to get it. Like consumers get it. They're getting all sorts of these other emails. So don't be afraid. As we always say, do not be afraid to send emails. Of course, you're sending emails because you've listened to the pod before. Do send emails, send them early, right? And I would even add that when you're getting on to like the last week before Christmas, don't do a big sale. It's very, very likely that a certain percentage of your products are just not going to get there. They're not going to get there in time. You're just going to be handling like a whole bunch of customer service problems right when you want to be sitting down with the family, drinking eggnog, and everyone's going to be calling you like, where's my stuff? I ordered this 5 days ago. And you're like, well, yeah, I know, you should have ordered it sooner. So anyway, just a little tip. Like, I personally wouldn't even really do any significant sale, even the last 5 days before Christmas. Like, I wouldn't even do it. Push them out early. Maybe set up a gift card program to do if you want to do a last minute push. Like, I would just sell gift cards the last week because it's probably going to be bad. I'm just gonna warn you right now. So anyway.
Mm-hmm. So another thing that happened since then, that's actually, wait, before I go to the next thing, it's actually a great point. I think even mentioned a little bit of that in the last episode, but if everyone's moving up their sales anyway, like all you really care about is selling your products, but you don't necessarily want to piss people off because it doesn't get there in time. So, some of you could be lucky enough, you might sell, I don't know, like there might be people that you already have enough, but this is specifically because of the shipping issues. I just want to reiterate, like, this is a good thing. People are buying more. It seems like more than ever. I don't know how, but they're buying more than ever. But this specifically, the reason you're bringing this up is there's going to be shipping problems, and you may as well get your customers the products they want early. So yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, Richie, last year they called it Ship-aggedon, and it was bad. This year, it's the sequel. Ship-aggedon 2, like it got worse. I don't know. That's a really bad tagline, but like,
no, but I get it. I was trying to actually think of what that phrase was. So thanks.
Yeah, like it's gonna be worse. And like, we know from talking to people in the industry, like people track the error rate or the rate of like misdelivered products. It's at this point, multiple times worse than it was last year. So like 3 to 4 times worse than last year at this point. And now push that into, another 6 weeks from now, it's going to get bad. So anyway, do your sales early.
Yeah. Do them early. So you guys got acquired and Facebook changed their name.
Yeah.
So we got Meta now. I'm not sure yet how I feel about the name. I don't even really, it was straight. I almost thought it was like a joke when I first saw it. So I don't really know enough about it to know why. Like, I get it. I have my Oculus back here. Like, I'm into it, but I still don't quite get it. What are your thoughts, and what are some of the things that people should be thinking about when it comes to Facebook? Because I don't think it's going to change much for us, right? It's a new name, but for now, for the foreseeable future, I think there's only a couple things that we're concerned about. That's ads and making sure we can track things. So what are your thoughts on what's going on there?
Yeah. There's a lot of jokes. I could lead with a meta joke there, but we'll just push that aside. So we've talked about Facebook ads a bunch in the past, right? So yes, you should do Facebook ads, but what you're referring to is this sort of like the battle of the titans, right? There's a Apple versus Facebook versus Google versus Amazon. Everybody's battling, and Apple kind of laid down the gauntlet, and they basically cut off the data from iPhones, making it through from, which specifically was targeted at Facebook. Snap actually was hurt probably more. Pinterest was hurt more. Facebook was hurt. But really, what at the end of the day, we'll have to get nerdy here for a second, Richie. This is like, you got to learn about pixels and data and such. But basically, the iOS update made it so way less data passes on an iPhone, on an iPad, from the device back to Facebook. So Facebook's been scrambling to try to figure out a way, and you can pass a certain amount of data. A certain amount of data gets passed, so it's not like, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean like Facebook advertising doesn't work anymore, but it doesn't. It's actually, it still works. It just doesn't pass as much data, so you can't prove that it works as much. Which, for people that do advertising, means it's like the end of the world, right? So
you're talking more like the attribution end of it, like specifically this ad is the thing that sold that thing. Is that what you're referring to?
A little bit that, a little bit all the extra. I mean, Facebook is known for pulling a lot of data in. I won't go into philosophical debate, but they pull in a lot of data. Apple limited a lot of that data they can pull in. So now, yes, you can track certain conversions, but there's a lot that are just missing right now. Like, say, maybe it's 15, maybe 20% of the conversions still happen. You just don't know about it, right? So let's talk about the workaround,
Yeah. Well, before we get that into the workaround, we'll go right in. But this just reminds me of like, this is just the good old days. Like, there wasn't attribution. Just go back a few years. I mean, you see a little bit of the gray here. Like, when a restaurant placed an ad somewhere, or they sent out flyers, or they were on the radio, they just saw an uptick in business, but they didn't necessarily know how it happened, and it was working, so they kept doing it. But there were things that they could put in place to make it better. So you're saying there's a workaround. Is there something they can do to make it a little better in the meantime, or a lot better? What's
for sure? I would say a lot better, right? So yes, Facebook still has the pixel. You should still install the pixel, right? Like, I mentioned this data. You as a merchant, you want this data. I'll just be 100% transparent. You want as much data as you possibly can, because you're trying to sell the product. You're trying to figure out who's buying your product. The additional thing you should be doing, right? So now, you've probably seen some emails from Ecwid on this, right? And you probably didn't catch why we would be saying this stuff. It's called Facebook extension. And it's essentially, what this is a server to server connection. So our servers are now connected to Facebook servers. So when, Rich's store sells a product to, say, Jesse Ness, and you also advertise on Facebook, even if Apple's change cut off the data, right? Like, which is what's happening. Apple's cut off the data. This is now a workaround. It's a server to server connection between an e-commerce platform and Facebook. So that's, I'm trying to dumb it down a little bit, and I might not be smart enough to explain it any more than that anyway. But this is the connection that happens. So it is able to piece together the fact that you place this ad and this person bought. Now they're gonna attribute that sale to this performance, right? So now, how do you get it, right? Well, you could do all the work on the back end yourself, but you would never get there. Or luckily, Ecwid has already done all this work. So I would also say there's not very many platforms that have done this, right? Like, this is sort of it's weird nobody talks about this, probably because it's super boring, and people are probably like in their car falling asleep right now. But there's only a handful of platforms that have actually made this connection. We're one of them. And how do you, as the merchant, get that? Well, if you connect with Facebook now, and if you connect your Ecwid store to Facebook right now, you already have it. You don't have to worry about it. But if you've been with Ecwid for a long time and you connected your store to Facebook in the past prior to this, I don't know the date on this, but probably sometime this summer, right? Don't quote me on that. But like, if you connected to Facebook previous to this summer and you haven't redone it, you don't have this FBE connection, this server to server connection. So the quick little tip for you is, go into your Facebook connection. Um, and by the way, I'm not looking at a screen right now, so I don't remember what it looks like. But basically, you're going to want to disconnect and reconnect. That's the very short answer. There's going to be docs on this in our help center. Our support could help you out with a little better information than I just gave you. I'm giving you the short version is you want to reconnect your store to Facebook so you get the advantage of this extra attribution, which basically just makes your Facebook ad performance a ton better. All those little dynamic product ads that we've talked about in multiple podcasts, that's going to work better. Everything's going to work better for Facebook and Instagram advertising is probably the short, too long didn't read answer. Make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I'm sure you're going to have more information. You guys are always putting out emails or blog posts on how to do this stuff anyway. So if there's any trouble, that support could help out with this pretty quick.
We do, but I know people are like, oh, I didn't read that email. Yeah, we probably sent it multiple times. The short answer is disconnect, reconnect your Facebook connection. It'll improve your performance, period.
Awesome. And I know I talked a little bit and even referred to 2 episodes that we did with Clickin' in the past regarding Google and showing up in Google and how to get ads, right? And we're talking about Facebook ads right here too. But you wanted to talk a little bit about the shopping feed itself and showing up for Google in their shopping feed. Anything you want to talk to specifically on that?
Yeah, and I know we've done a whole podcast about this, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but as in the spirit of a reminder for the holidays, if you haven't done this, this is like one of the easiest things you can do to help your sales. So as a reminder, Google Shopping is when you Google stuff and you see products, that's what Google Shop, you need a product feed to feed Google Shopping, right? You can do that for free. If that sounds confusing about creating a feed and, if you don't know what a merchant center is, use our partner. They're Clickin'. They're fantastic. I think it's like $10 or $20 a month. They'll walk you through this whole process. And they also have a connection to the Facebook feed and Facebook ads as well. So this isn't really like mind-boggling brand new, but if you haven't done your connection to Google Shopping, you haven't set up the feed, just do it. You can, if you do it yourself, like it's maybe a 15-minute, maybe an hour process if you're newer, right? Or you can just pay somebody $10 a month and they'll do it for you. Maybe 20. I think I don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it's funny. Even as we are doing this podcast here, like we're in the mix so much that I forget that, when you actually go to Google and you search in the search bar, there's a whole other section, right? News, videos, shopping. There's an actual one for shopping, right? And so like even those of us that have been in it for a long time forget there's many ways to get there. And this just helps Google help you sell products. Bottom line.
And so Richie, like there's that big company out there, Amazon, right? And a lot of people will start their search on there. And if you can't find it, you don't give up, right? The next thing you should do is you go to Google and you click on the shopping thing, and there's way more products there than is available on Amazon, right? So like, and Amazon's a whole different beast, and we don't even go there at this moment because if you haven't set that up, it might take a little bit too much time. Google Shopping is easy to set up, and they have so much more products. They don't ask for any money. Like a lot of this stuff is free. So highly, highly recommend. If you haven't done this, this is like easy money for you. So please do your Google Shopping feed.
Yeah. So man, there's so many platforms these days. Like it's good, right? We got these businesses, we took our product photos, we did our descriptions, we did all this stuff. We've done everything, and we want to get out in front of people. And one of the ways to do it, like you just mentioned, like is to be on a marketplace like Amazon or something like that. And we have done, and we will do more episodes on that. But I'm just thinking in general, because there's another announcement you have of someone you partnered with, but just platforms in general. There's so many. There's Pinterest, there's Facebook, there's Snapchat, there's TikTok, it just goes on and on. What are some of the things that you've heard of, and I guess would be a good spot to talk about the announcement that you guys had with TikTok too. What are some of the things going on other platforms, that people should be thinking about?
Yeah. So we just mentioned the feed, getting your feed for Google Shopping, right? Once you can do a Google Shopping feed, getting the feed to Pinterest, getting the feed to Snapchat, Snap, uh, getting the feed to TikTok is going to be even easier, right? So once you start getting the idea that, like, yes, a store is super important, but the feeds are even more important, right? You even mentioned you can spend all this time, get the right product photos, the descriptions, the name of your product, right? Well, then you need the feed to feed all these social platforms, which is where all the traffic comes from. So, you know, I'm kind of grouping these together. Like, yes, you should send it to Pinterest. Yes, you should send it to Snap, and yes, you just send it to TikTok, right? There's different processes for each of those, but just in general, you should send it to these platforms. We're going to talk a little bit about TikTok because, yes, this one is super interesting. We're one of only 5 platforms right now that are in the early beta stages of this, and there's more to come. But right now, TikTok, I think I'll put it like, every few years you have these new platforms that come around, right? And that early on, like, there's a huge opportunity to get huge amount of traffic, huge amount of mind share, and to start selling your product. And after, like, 4 or 5 years, everybody's doing it, right? So right now there's an opportunity with TikTok. Like, I think it has more traffic than YouTube right now, right? It's a huge phenomenon. And early on, there's not as many people advertising on it. There's not as many people using it to sell products, right? All the marketers haven't ruined it for everybody else, right? Which is what eventually happened to every platform. The marketers will ruin it, but
Damn.
right now, yes, the marketers will find a way, right? So what I'm telling you is to go be one of those marketers, find a way to ruin it, right? No, not really. But I mentioned Ecwid is now one of 5 platforms, I believe, that now have this new ability. And by the way, this changes like every week. We have multiple calls with TikTok every single week. So I won't even give you the how-tos, but you now have the ability to sync your catalog with your pixel and start advertising. And there's a new feature, TikTok Shopping is now available. It's, some of it's kind of still hidden behind some walls right there, and the countries that are available are changing, requirements are changing. So I don't want to, like, don't like put bad comments on our podcast here and say, like, oh, it wasn't available. Like, I get it. Like, it's brand new, everybody calm down. But highly recommend checking it out. Go sign up, get the pixel, get the catalog sync. This is a massive platform, and it's sort of a greenfield, right? So get in there early. Now next week, next week we're interviewing somebody from TikTok. So I don't want to go into too much details of the how-to and what's next, but if you're like wondering what could I do right now, like, go check it out in the control panel. It says TikTok. Start going through the process. You need a TikTok business account, TikTok for Business. It's not your regular TikTok, just FYI. Just like Facebook has, just like Google has, like, it's sort of the same deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, in general, I think what you're getting at is the thing we eternally talk about is we want to sell items, but we got to find the people to sign them or to sell them to, right? So they could be on these marketplaces, they could be on Pinterest, they could be on Snap, they could be on TikTok. They're all over the place. We just have to find them. And so a lot of this comes down to just exploring, as if, by the way, if you ever find the petition for the 36-hour day, I will sign that thing, because I eternally, just like the rest of you out there, have way more to get done in a day than the day allots me to do. So, like, it's like, wait a minute, I'm having a hard time getting this stuff done. You're telling me to do new things? Yeah, we are. We're telling you to do new things, because you got to find that customer and where they're at. And I know one of the things we touched on it really quick, and we're definitely going to do more in the future on it. But you and I were talking, we really wanted to mention the live shopping, and it could be, let's just say live shopping / live streaming, because it's kind of a little different on each platform on how you might do it. Like Facebook, you can actually attach the product and stuff. So I don't want to get into detail on this either, but just wearing the hat of the explorer, where are my people at? What are some ways I can produce content in a way that people are consuming content that might actually help me sell more things? And, I think live shopping is definitely one of those places. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, agree with a lot of what you said there. Because yes, we said, oh, you should check out Facebook and Google and Pinterest and Snap and TikTok. Like, you're probably not going to check out each one of those. Like, each individual business is a little bit different, might have different demographics, right? And now we're saying, oh, and then there's this other one, live shopping, right? So live shopping, it won't be right for everybody, but for some people, it might just be the key that unlocks, the whatever multiple X growth. I don't even know, right? Like, it could be, takes you from barely hanging on to quitting your job, right? Like, whatever that it is for you, it has that kind of potential. And so yes, so for live shopping, like, things that would be, open to a good demonstration, right? Like, so
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge one. How many times have you watched Shark Tank and had the people say, I don't even know what it does, right? Like, it's in this box and you don't even know what it does. Like, this is for the products that need demonstration.
Yes.
Either need demonstration, or I think it might even be good for artists. I think artists that were just, maybe they were, making a painting and they have other paintings around them that are just, they may or may not buy it right that second. That's why I said kind of like live streaming meets live shopping, right? Kind of a combo on this, just more exploring new ways of getting your message out in front of people. But I definitely want to double down on that comment you made, though, of it's in the demonstration of it, or the excitement of how it works, more than it sells itself, right? So
Yeah, I don't think it's like some of the influencer marketing, where you pay an influencer to hold your product up and it's a box of whatever, and you're like, and they smile and they're on a beach. Okay, somehow that works, right? By the way, I get it. If that's working for you, like, awesome. I maybe I should be doing more of that. But this is more like influencer marketing meets video meets live. So you actually have to, yes, you have to describe the product. You have to show how it's used. I think those types of products are going to kill it. And the reason I mentioned live shopping is I think we're in like sort of a cultural moment where there's a lot of people that are working from home. There's a lot of people that are on Zoom all day long. This is being recorded on Zoom. So like, I sit at my desk, like every single day, and I stare at a screen. So I think people are used to that. And I think all the technology has now developed, right? Where every platform is a little bit different. So, Facebook and Instagram has a way, YouTube has a way, Pinterest just announced this Pinterest TV. Like, so just, I won't even go into each one. Every platform has some sort of way that they're doing quote unquote live shopping. It usually involves the feed. So coming back to that feed, gotta do the feed. And then the skill you want to develop is being a presenter, right? You have to learn how to, talk to the camera and get your lighting and figure out a personality that's going to help you sell these products. So, so I think it's just an interesting time to jump on this. So if you've heard this whole podcast, you're like, yeah, I've done all these things. Yeah. What else you got? Like, I really, really would recommend checking out live shopping and the platform that works for you. And then come back and tell us, right? I want to hear from people that have had some success. We want to have you on the podcast, because I think this is a new area that we should all be exploring. So anyway, Richie, I know you've always been a huge fan of live shopping, streaming in general. So like, maybe you even have some more to add.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, this is why I said I want to go in more detail and maybe even literally set up where we show the process of it happening one of these days. Now I don't think we need to go super deep on it right now too, just because, we're trying to get people to focus on, there's a mad rush coming right? This holiday season, we want you to get your sales early. We want you to get your feeds done. We want you to get all that going. But I love that this got brought up because it's just an example of we're always trying to get better at whatever it is we're doing. And, you know, this might be a way for you to just get your feet wet, just try it out. If you have some sort of success at all, let us know. Speaking of, you know, we're looking for more merchants to come on. We love when we have you guys on. So, to your point, Jesse, if someone tries this out and has some success with it, with whatever they're doing, let us know, and most likely we can bring you on the show. Yeah,
it's video. It's the same sort of thing. All these platforms need video. Live shopping is video. It's just live, so it's a good skill to develop. But yeah, it is the holiday season. So if you're like this, if you haven't done all the basics, might be a little wait for the 2022 on this one. Kind of in the spirit of the holidays as well. So Rich, I think you had Josh on recently for the Ecwid Academy. So again, with all these extra resources we're bringing to you, if you're wondering what's next, what should I do? We have all sorts of extra new resources for you. So the Ecwid Academy is great. There's gonna be some video that's a little more how-to, might be at a slower pace than the podcast, but it's gonna include video. I believe there's a holiday series as well that's gonna be launching. So just kind of of course, read all the emails you get from us. You're gonna see all those tips. I think it's Ecwid I'm sorry, back it up here. Rewind.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, ecommerce-academy.ecwid.com for kind of all the resources there. Of course, you're going to get the emails too. But we just want to give you the tools that you need to make it this holiday season. There's a lot of people buying, right? Like all the pandemic, all the issues and all the things we're having. The forecasts are like consumer sales are still through the roof. If you can get it there, if somebody will deliver it,
they'll buy it.
You know, they will buy it. So it's everything's kind of looking up in the world of e-commerce. I will just kind of add, like, so please just, you know, use the resources we've given you, get out there, build your store. Rich, what else do we have for everybody?
No, hey, the holidays are here. Like, let's do this, right? Like, let's put this to work. Let's take these last few episodes and just put in practice. You know, you've heard me say this before in the past, but and I know you don't like this one as much since you're from Minnesota, but when Vince Lombardi would at every practice would hold up the football in front of his players and say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." Now, we all know that they all knew that was a football. But it was about the basics, and part of why they were good was they just did the basics really, really, really good. And that's more or less why we're bombarding you in these last few episodes with do these basic things. And we'll get out there and, you know, do other things that are a little more crazy and fun for you. But these basics are the things that I think are going to help people sell more than anything. And that's really my input on that. Let's just say the pulling together of this episode and last episode.
All right, Richie. Yeah, I love it. Everybody, hope that was helpful. You know what to do. Get out there. Make it happen.
Hey, this is Jesse and Rich. We want to let you know we really appreciate you listening.
We hope you find the tips we give you helpful for growing your business.
You can find all of our past episodes and a lot more useful stuff at ecwid.com/podcast.
And also, check us out on your favorite podcasting platform like Apple Podcast or Stitcher. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing.
Be sure to let us know what you think by rating and reviewing so we can serve you better.
So subscribe on your favorite platform.
And come join our community, check out the transcripts, or tell us why you would be a great guest at ecwid.com/podcast.